Hello, welcome back. We are in our read through of the 1800s King James Pictorial Bible.
So this is teaching for women. So it's interesting that you did pick out a few things from the Psalm of David that you're reading. Because, Jehovah, he told them that he would be their God and they would be his people if they obeyed him. They would be a wise nation, peculiar people unto him. And it was an example to the other nations, right? The covenants of peace, the glad tidings of good things, is the covenant at Horeb, what the Messiah was actually prophesied to give us by the prophets. So if you go read Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19, that is the testimony, the record Jehovah gave of his son that John points you to in 1 John 5, verse 9 and 10. And Isaiah 8, verse 20. If anyone does not speak according to the law and the prophets, the testimony and the prophets, right? There's no light in them. The testimony that Jehovah gave of his son in Deuteronomy 18 says that he would raise up Yeshua, which is the name of the Messiah, or Joshua in Zechariah 3 and Revelations 5, Joshua high priest. He had the same name as Joshua son of Nun. It was prophecy that they would change his name, blaspheme his name. In the latter days, the pastors and the wolves in sheep's clothing will be prophesying in the name Baal. His name's not Jesus. That's the one who came in his own name that Yeshua warned you about in John 5:42 and 43. He says, I know you don't have the love of God in you. The love of God is keeping the covenants, the 10 Commandments. What Moses wrote, Yeshua would give you in Deuteronomy 18, the testimony, the record Jehovah gave of his son, verse 15 through 19. Everything desired at Horeb in the day of the assembly, the 10 Commandments, Deuteronomy 5, verse 22. He gave the 10 with his voice, and he added no more. That was before Mount Sinai, before they transgressed. So he would be their he would be their God, and they would be his people. And then he declared to him the blessings and the curses. There's two covenants, the one at Horeb and the one beside it at Moab, the sacrificial law at Moab and the holy covenants at Horeb. The two covenants in Galatians 4, the one with promise, Horeb, Ephesians 6, 1 through 4, to honor your father and your mother, according to Yeshua's first and great commandment, Deuteronomy 6, to keep the 10 Commandments. That's to love God with all your heart, soul, mind. You're supposed to keep the 10 Commandments in your heart and teach them to your children. If you do them, it will be your righteousness. The righteousness of God in Psalms 119, verse 172, and all of his commandments are righteousness. So they'd be a holy priesthood, peculiar people. What 2 Peter is quoting in Exodus 19, the Holy Covenant, the 10 Commandments. So in 1 John 5 as well, verse 2 and 3, this is how we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. And this is the love of God, to keep his commandments that are not grievous. That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to love his children by keeping the commandments of God, not worshiping any other gods but Jehovah, not doing idolatry because it makes you deaf and blind. Jehovah's polluted their gifts and their offerings, their idolatry. Exodus 20. So the people cannot see or hear spiritually. They have to put salve on their eyes They curse their children 3 to 4 generations down that hate him, doing idolatry. Don't blaspheme Jehovah's name. Don't twist the word of God. Don't call a son by another god's name, Jesus, after Zeus, the Greek god they used to worship. The transliterated name, where they say they didn't have certain letters, so they had to change some of his letters. It kind of sounded the same, but then it was feminine, so they had to make it masculine, so they completely changed the complete ending of the name to Zeus, after Zeus. Zeus isn't the father. That's another god. The son came in the father's name. Joshua, from the Greek to the English, is Joshua. They didn't have to transliterate Joshua, son of Nun, in the Bible. No, just the son's name, because it's prophecy that they would forget Jehovah's name for the name Baal, that the lying pastors would be preaching in the latter days, Jeremiah 23. So they forget Jehovah's name for the name Baal. Now you read Jah, Jehovah. So you know the Father's name. Romans 10, how will they hear on him who they have not heard? And how will they hear without a preacher? Because the prophets and the New Testament warned you that the church will fall away. They won't endure sound doctrine in the end, but will be turned onto fables. 2 Thessalonians 2, 2 Timothy 3 and 4. They've turned the grace of God into unmerited favor in Jude 1, lasciviousness. They deny Titus 2 that the grace of God, Greek word charis, especially divine influence upon the heart, G5485, will teach them to deny ungodliness, breaking of the covenants of promise in Ephesians 2, to eat clean and keep the covenants at Horeb, what was prophesied Yeshua would give you, so they can live soberly and righteously, keeping the righteousness of God, the 10 Commandments, in this present world. So he can purify himself, peculiar people, the same peculiar people, zealous unto good works, the good works that were before ordained that you should walk in Ephesians 2, no longer being disobedient children who walk after the lusts of this world, the prince of the worlds. That the wrath of God is appointed to in Ephesians 5. A royal priesthood. So I hope you keep the 10 Commandments. I hope you keep the Sabbath day, dawn Saturday to dawn Sunday. And I hope you eat clean, not filling your vessels with swine's flesh and broth of abominable things. Because when the Lord returns with fire to plead with all flesh, his fiery judgment with his whirlwind, the redeemed of the Lord, the remnant that did not bow to the image of Baal according to the election of grace, Romans 11. Jacob, his servant, he turns iniquity away from in the latter days, to warn the people before destruction, before tribulation. That's his peculiar people, a treasure unto him, who keep the commandments of God, who have the Father's name written on their foreheads, who have the testimony of the Son, Revelations 19 and Revelations 14. They don't have the name Baal written on their foreheads, a number of a man, who worship the image of the beast night and day, who have the mark of his name in Revelations 13 and 14. Count the number of a beast, 603 score 6, chi, ze, stigma, Jesus, Christ pierced on cross.